Hey, hey, hey. Good evening. This is Tanya, the insurance professor. And so very often when you are trying to pass the insurance exam, there's certain things that you miss. It is something called policy options. Now, I've talked about types of policies being a large section, along with the section on policy provision, riders, and options. And most people don't even know what the options are or what they're talking about, right? So let me try to explain policy options. Now, policy options are dealing with the money in the policy. Say the money in the policy. Yes, the money in the policy. The money that's in the policy. So, where is the money in an insurance policy? Number one, it's in cash value. That's where it is. In a life insurance policy, you have cash value and you can take that money out. You have dividends. Dividends is what we call excess premium, right? And then third is the settlement options. The settlement options are the monies that come from the proceeds of the death. All right. When the money is paid out to the beneficiary. So those three areas. Now, when you are getting prepared for the exam, you got to remember that your exam is a subject-based test. And I say that all the time, that this is a subject-based test. And being a subject-based exam, you need to understand that they're only going to ask you questions in that topic. So if we're talking about options, then the options are going to be around the cash value options called non-forfeiture, your dividend options, and your settlement options. They're either going to ask you specifically about that one question on or that one topic, options on cash value, non-forfeiture, or they're going to ask you specifically about dividends, or they're going to ask you specifically about settlement. And then if you know those, that's great. But because the questions are within the options section, right, of your exam, then the only other A, B, C, and D on your multiple choice, when they give you the multiple choice responses, if I know one option and I know it backwards and forwards, then the other two, I don't have to know that well. Why do I say that? I'm going to find something on my screen, see if I can share it with you on just a question. Good luck to me. Hold tight. Let's see. Messing up, messing up. So I share. Oh, I'm probably not prepared to share my screen, but let's give it a try anyway. Um, Policy provisions. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to go down to question maybe here and give you an example of a subject-based exam. Here is a question regarding non-forfeiture. And in this question regarding non-forfeiture, it says that an insured owns a $50,000 whole life policy with $20,000 cash value. The insured decides to use the extended term non-forfeiture option to convert term insurance. What would the face amount of the new policy be? Well, what I know about non-forfeiture is I have three options. Either I'm going to take the money out of the cash value, that's called surrender, or I can extend the term on this policy, and it was going to give me the whole life policy. It converts it to term. The amount of the policy is going to be the same as the whole life. Or my third option on this is to buy a reduced paid up policy with the lump sum from the cash value. So all it's asking me on non-forfeiture is, what am I going to do with the cash value? What are you doing with the cash value? I'm either going to take it, I'm going to extend my insurance policy by converting it to a term, or I'm going to get a new policy and I'm going to pay it all up. So my options, my three things that I need to remember is cash, extended term, and reduce paid up. Cash, extended term, and reduce paid up. So looking at this question, it says that you converted it to term insurance. What is the face amount of the new policy? What I know is that if I converted this to term, term is a policy that's going to be less expensive, right? And because I converted it, it's going to have the same amount as the whole life policy. So I'll be able to answer this question without a whole bunch because I know this info. Boom. 50,000 is going to be the same. All I did was convert the policy from whole life to term. The face amount of this policy, the death benefit, is going to be 50,000. When I look at the next question here, it is also, there's the big word, non-forfeiture option. So when I'm looking at non-forfeiture, now I'm looking at my A, B, C, and D. Because this is a subject-based test, hey, I can eliminate at least two, life income and accumulation at interest. Why can I do that? Because I know already that non-forfeiture is either going to be cash, extended term, reduce paid up. Extended term, reduce paid up. Now it's time for me to read the question. Which of the non-forfeiture options will provide coverage for the longest period of time? Now, I'm very fortunate to know that if I had the extended term question come up in the other one before, this must be reduced paid up. Why is this reduced paid up? It's because I'm getting another whole life policy that I purchased with one lump sum. So the cash value that I had in the policy, I purchased a life insurance, whole life insurance policy with a new death benefit. So the option for me would be reduce paid up. Now, proving again that this is a subject-based test and the only options that they're going to give us in my ABCs is either going to be about the one topic or about non-forfeiture, settlement, or boom, dividends. So this is a dividends question. Before I look at the dividends question, I'm going to look at the options here, A, B, C, and D. Accumulation at interest, paid up addition, extended term, reduce paid up. I can immediately get rid of extended term, reduce paid up, because those two have to deal with what topic? Non-forfeiture, the cash value. So I may not know the dividend options at all, but I now have a better chance of answering this question because I understand that these two went away and I only have a choice of paid up addition and accumulation at interest. Now let me read the question. Which dividend option will increase the death benefit? Thinking about it, what will increase the death benefit? The accumulation at interest. So I have interest that's accumulating. How does that interest accumulate increase my death benefit? The other option is paid up addition. So when I use the word paid up in this reduced paid up, I got a whole life insurance policy that was all paid up. So use paid up addition just by thinking about what this question is saying and the things that I already know about one topic. Remember, I've only studied one. I studied non-forfeiture. I did not look at dividend options. So here we go. And I chose paid up addition, and that is correct. Let's take one more. One more. This is about settlement options. On settlement options, I have not studied. I didn't study it. Settlement options. But what I know about it thus far is that settlement options are dealing with the death benefit. The death benefit being paid out. The death benefit being paid out. So a settlement, that's when they pay the death of a person that has passed away. So here are my options, A, B, C, and D. Fixed amount, fixed period, life income, cash payment. Now, what I kind of remember when I glanced at settlement options was the word cliff. You know, Mr. Cliff, CLIFF, that went with it. So I'm going to assume that all four of these go with the word settlement options. Now, when I look at it, now I got to use my brain to define or figure out which one are they talking about. So now we're going to do a process of elimination. The question says, which settlement option potentially allows the beneficiary to receive more than the initial death benefit? I'm going to look at the first one, fixed amount installments, fixed period installments. If there is something fixed, then I'm sure it's not going to give me anything more. So I'm going to eliminate those two immediately. If I have a fixed amount and a fixed period, then I'm going to eliminate those two. Because this says I'm going to receive, the beneficiary is going to receive more than the initial death benefit. Then I'm going to look at these two, life income and cash payment. Now, I don't have a lot of time on the test, but life income began to trigger something right here. If I had life income, is something going to pay someone out for life other than cash payment? The cash payment can't give you more unless you have the cash payment plus the return of premium. Uh-oh, I just went too deep. Let me stay here on this screen and these options. So here we have cash payment. Will the cash payment pay you more than the additional death benefit? No. My last one would be life income. Life income. I may not understand completely what life income is, but that would be the better choice of the four. So I would select life income. And of course, that is correct. So this is, again, a subject-based exam. If I just know one, and that's all I'm saying, all I need to know is one. That's all I want to know, one. If I know one of the options, if I can understand everything there is about non-forfeiture, then I'm able to answer these questions, boom, for the rest, because I can eliminate what I know. In this one before, I was able to eliminate the two options that go with non-forfeiture. And I keep using the word options, the two selections that went with non-forfeiture. So I was able to take it down to a 50-50. So your exam also takes some strategies. So if you understand the concept, and again, what I do is I teach one. In this section, I only teach one concept. You need to know everything there is about non-forfeiture, the cash value. And what happens to the cash value? I glance over the dividends and I glance over settlement. Don't spend a lot of time on it because, again, when you get the questions, either they're going to be associated with only dividends or they're going to have some selections that either have some things that go with settlement or some things that go with non-forfeiture. So, hey, that is one of those tricks, one of those things that you ought to know and able to pick up. So thank you so much for allowing me to share today on what do you know about policy options, because this particular section of the policy provisions, options, and riders is huge. And you need to score high in this area. When you figure out what did I miss in that area, then study what you need in order to increase your points for the section on policy provisions. If you don't know the options, you're not going to pass your insurance exam. So I just gave you a quick way to learn one and then how to use it on the exam. I am Tanya, the insurance professor. Please make sure that you like our page. We will come back and bring more exciting tips in order for you to pass the insurance exam. You all have a great night.